Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another lovely week with these lives. I have thoroughly enjoyed doing these so far. And today I wanted to talk about something that is a little bit more philosophical, I like to think. I think the thought of thinking outside the box is something that we throw around a lot. You know, people say it when you're in brainstorming sessions and you're in team meetings. It's like, oh, let's think outside the box. What does it actually mean? And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tell you a couple of stories about how over the years, thinking outside the box has really helped me get to where I'm going. And hopefully it will help you kind of with some inspiration to get to where you're going as well. So let me take you back to 2008. It was when I just started my career in London. I had left school. I didn't bother with university. I was like, I'm too keen to get to work and start doing some stuff. So I went to work and I got this job working at an event company. And I loved it. Absolutely loved it. It was a really small team and it was just learning every single day. And my job was to look after some accounts. I was looking after it. I was an account manager, making sure that we got, certain event staff to certain gigs. And other part of my job was also sales, making sure that, we brought in new business all the time. Now, what's really cool is, when it comes to sales, right, you don't know, everyone has the same tactics. You can read the same books and the same this and the same that. But, what I did was actually was watching TV one night and I was watching a kid's show and it was talking about building this Lego thing. I don't even remember what it was, but this idea suddenly dawned on me that I should be using ideas like this in my sales tactics. So what I did is I went in the next day and one of the biggest clients I was going for at the time was a car brand, right? And what I did was I'd been hounding this guy for like 3 months and no emails back, no calls back. I'm sure some of you can understand the feeling. It's really hard when you don't get anyone reply to you. And so I decided to do something quite cool. What I did was I bought a model version of the car of the brand that I was trying to target. And what I did was I then bought a little tiny Lego hammer. Little hammer, right? And I wrote a little note on that hammer and put it in the boot of the car and sent that car off to this guy, right? Two or 3 weeks later, I get a phone call saying that the guy is on the phone. This guy wants to talk to me. I was like, wow, this is interesting. So he calls me back. I call him back and I get on the phone and he says, Jack, you've got my attention. And we had a conversation and I ended up booking about 800 grand's worth of business out of that particular person. Now, what I did was I wrote on that hammer was, we will smash the competition. That's all I wrote. And I put the hammer in the back and the boot of this car. And what I did was it sent a message that was a little bit different, a little bit fun, a little bit outside the box that allowed me to be really different in my approach. Now, this story as I've been told many, many times, but it's always kept me in quite a good place because throughout my life, I've always done things that are thinking outside the box. And you got to think about it this way. Unless you do something different, no one's ever going to notice, right? And not that being noticed is the target, but being understood and being heard is a big part of that. Being visible, being understood and people understanding who you are and what you do. We live in a very noisy world, right? A very noisy world, and social media and the internet and everything, it's exploded over the last 10 years. And it means that everybody is competing for eyeballs. Everyone's competing for ears. Everyone's competing for beings, especially now that we're all doing things virtually like this, that people need, they've got distractions everywhere. I don't think I've ever done a Zoom call where I've concentrated for more than 5 minutes at a time. There's always something else going on. So in this world, we need to be standing out. We need to be visible. We need to be a little bit different. And we need to start thinking outside of the box for us to be able to actually be seen and heard in front of our audiences. Another story for you, right? I was at a casting. This is about 6 or 7 years later. I was in the modeling world and I was at a casting and it was for a big clothing brand. And what they do at these castings is they basically get you to put on some clothes and then they get you to do a bit of a catwalk or take some photos or whatever. But this particular one was a little bit different because what they did is they got you to put on the clothes and they brought out there, and then they asked you to then take off the clothes in the most flamboyant way possible, right? Now we were kind of watching the other people go in, and it was actually a reverse engineered shoot. So what they're going to do is they're going to film you taking the clothes off and then reverse it on the actual advert so that it looked like you were throwing the clothes on. It was quite cool. Anyway, most of the guys, were sort of just unbuttoning their shirt and taking it off, or maybe flicking a shoe or whatever. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do this my way. So got on set and had this nice suit on and everything else. And I decided just to go crazy. So I ripped the shirt open and like I fell over when I took my trousers off, and when I kicked the shoe, it almost hit the photographer. All this sort, and I just went crazy, went absolutely crazy for it. And some of the guys were laughing, some of the clients were a bit shocked. But at the end of the day, I was having fun. I thought outside the box. I thought, you know what, I'm going to do this a bit differently. And lo and behold, I booked the job. Right. And I asked them, what was it about the job? What was it that I booked? What was it about me they booked? They said, you just did it your way. You just did it the way that you felt was best for you. And I think that is, again, another key part of this is that you've got to do these things the way that works for you. It's all well and good looking on social media and looking at what other people are doing and copying people's websites and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, great idea. Get inspiration from others, 100%. As Jim Rohn says, success leaves clues, right? So make sure you're always looking at what everyone else is doing, but do it your way. Naval Ravikant has a quote that says, your uniqueness is your competitive advantage. Your uniqueness is your competitive advantage. So if you think about it as a competition, as a race, as a battle, right? You are competitive in the way that you being yourself. So just be you and you will always come out on top. Another example of this thinking outside the box was actually a little bit more recent, when the pandemic hit and, I lost my job. Essentially, I wasn't modeling anymore. I wasn't doing anything else. It literally was just like nothing, which is, a bit scary. And there was lots of people in that position. But, what I did do is I thought, okay, well, what can I do? What can I do that will make me, A, feel like I'm getting further forward than I am right now, but also B, get me to somewhere that I feel a bit more supported and secure in where I am. And I decided to start putting out content for people to start looking at. And I didn't see anyone else in my space doing this. There was no one else really putting out content that was just like talking to camera, right? And some of the videos they did were 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes long. But what I did was I put them out there, and yes, of course, nobody watched them at the beginning, right? Nobody did, right? But then people started to after a while. And lo and behold, I started to build clients, and I started to make money, and I started to do things and build traffic and audience through my through putting these videos out. Again, I just thought outside the box, thought, well, what am I not doing that I could be doing? And that's what this is all about, right? People don't do things in life, not because they don't want to, it's because they haven't chosen to do it yet. And I think that, if you think about yourself for a second over than anybody else and how you're going to move forward in life, I think that's so important and so key when you're basically trying to, how do I put this? When you're trying to become someone but do something in your life that you're proud of, right? Do it your way. That's what's so important. And I stress this, so much with not just my friends and my family, but also with my clients. It's that you are capable of doing whatever you want. You can do whatever you want in life. And, again, I'm just going to give you another example, but, the last 6 weeks, right, I have been trying to start a business off the back of a dream, right? This logo here, where is it? Live and Clicking, right? Live and Clicking is a brand that I started, not too long ago, that has been a real big passion project of mine. And what I found is that by just digging deep and talking to people and thinking a bit outside the box and looking at like, well, what could I be doing rather than what I should be doing, right? What I should be doing is just getting a stable job so I can get some income, but that's not what I want to do, right? What I want to do is go out there and do something that I'm proud of, something that I feel excited about, something that helps people, something that really gives value to somebody else that doesn't have it yet. That's what I'm all about. And that's what Live and Clicking is all about. And so, thinking outside the box is a big part of life and a big part of how you should be moving forward in life. But I think that if there's anything to take away from this, it's ask yourself every single day, there are things you should be doing, but then there's also things that you could be doing, right? And I want you to start swaying more towards the could be doing, because if you could be doing something, then you never know. What are the possibilities? Possibilities are endless if you could be doing something else, right? And if there's some part of you that thinks, this doesn't really feel right today, then what else could you do to make it feel better? Guys, I hope this has been insightful and hopeful and helpful. And if anyone has any comments and anything that they've also done in the past that's kept them outside the box, comment below. I'd love to know what's been going on for you, and love to start a conversation around this. But big love to everyone who's watched. Thank you so much for turning up, and I will see you again next week.